Welcome to a new episode of Queen, Three, and King. We are experiencing some technical difficulties today out of Anna, Texas, and maybe with our guest who's wrapping up his own podcast. Our special guest today, HRAP B, built for this network and build and destroy podcast. So hopefully he'll be on today to discuss No New Friends with us. Again, glad to have you. We're on a new software platform, testing it out. So hopefully everything goes well. Let's see. I can't do that. All right. So while we're waiting on the seasoned queen to come on and waiting on HRAP, which I see the seasoned queen, we're going to let her get situated over there. We're going to go ahead and move forward with the introduction. So we'll start with the baby queen this time. Out of Forney, Texas, by way of East Garland, the east side, formerly known as Blake Mama, now known as Bronx's Mama, Mama Lee, Lee, and a host of other nicknames we won't get into. Those were pre-marriage and post.
You tried it.
Twerk friendly. So without further ado, the baby queen. Say hello.
Bless you. Hello, everybody. Ignore that last part. I've never had any names like that. But bless you.
What names? And next, out of Forney, Texas, by way of East Garland, Texas, still in an imbroglio with the city of Tulsa, and the state of Oklahoma has now gotten involved with regard to her crown. So again, more controversy brewing there. And she's also known as the educator, TT. Say what up, Queen.
What's up, everybody? I'm saved and sanctified, so I don't have those names like Alicia has.
Mm-hmm. All right. And finally, with a big shiny smile on her face, we got the seasoned queen out of Anna, Texas, by way of East Garland, Texas, known as Darling Nikki, Coco, the Glamour herself, Boney Maroney, Skinny Minnie. What up, Queen?
Good evening, everybody. And Mika, do you know that the most saved people have those names?
Oh.
So what you saying? I ain't saved. Well, okay.
I said the most saved people have those names too.
Well, I got a couple names. Never mind.
That's what I thought.
Because God can turn it around for you.
Yes. We already have a busy chat room here. We got Chef Fine as Wine in the building. What's going on, my man? Don't drink the Kool-Aid, or do drink the Kool-Aid, sir. We also have Rollins Reviews in the building. What's going on? I'd imagine we're going to get a couple of different folks in the chat room because End of the Bench podcast folks.
I love it.
In the building.
Come on in the room.
Yeah, he says new here. Hey, bro, I'm very familiar with you, sir.
Awesome.
He's always on the forecast and whatnot. Let's see here, everyone. All right, I think we got Kirby Alexander in the house. What's up, Kirby?
Hello, Kirby.
Peace and love on this evening.
Yes.
And I think they are doing some speaking to each other. Rollins says she's new here. So HRAP's done a good job of getting his folks here, but he ain't here yet.
No, HRAP.
Chef Fine as Wine says the End of the Bench podcast raid. We love it. And we got the best voice built for this network, Miss Charlotte Wilson in the building.
Charlotte. Last name Wilson.
And Rosalind did confirm that she is with the End of the Bench.
I love it.
So this is a new platform, guys. How do we share this? This is live, y'all. We're gonna talk about this out loud. How we share this?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Ask Ben.
Ben.
What do you know? What do you normally share on? You mean on like Facebook or? Oh, I don't know how it came up, so I couldn't tell you.
Bless you.
Couldn't tell you.
That's okay.
All right, let's see. I pinned some messages.
Yeah,
Charlotte
we'll get
Wilson just
to it.
showing some love.
We'll figure it out.
Here. Okay. All right. So no new friends. So the first thing I need to read on this no new friends thing, because again, we got to figure out where it came from, where this got pinned, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
So of course I, just did a little research on, what the world is talking about with these no new friends right now. And a couple of fellas in the industry said this. They say, yeah. Oh, and let me just put a disclaimer out there in case we have any of our aunts watching. And we know we got some new folks from the End of the Bench podcast and Built for This network. So we cuss every now and then, even though we Christians. So we just need to let y'all know that. So again, excuse and pardon my French.
You need to watch your French.
And I'm gonna tell you, like A-Trap say, if you offended, sucks to be you. In the words of a couple of fellas out there, they say, yeah, I stay down with my day one niggas, and we in the club screaming, no new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no new. Still here with my day one niggas. So you hear me say, no new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no new. I still ride with my day one niggas. I don't really need no new friends. No new friends, no new friends, no. I stay down from day one, so I say fuck all y'all niggas except my niggas. Fuck all y'all niggas except my niggas. One more time, fuck all y'all niggas. Except my niggas.
I don't like that.
Friend, where y'all real friends at started. And this is by the infamous Drake and DJ Khaled.
It is.
So let's start with the baby queen. What is going on? What are your first thoughts with this no new friends mantra that we are hearing a ton of nowadays?
Honestly, I've never really gave any energy to the no new friends. I'm one of those people that if the opportunity presents itself, I don't go out looking for friends, but if you come across somebody that you form a connection with, I don't believe in the no new friends, because some of my closest friends are some of the friends I met more in my recent adult years. So I appreciate the relationship.
We're gonna get a season queen time to get set up over there. She keep fiddling with this camera for some reason. So you made a comment before. You made a comment in there where you say that I don't go looking for new friends. Do we go looking for new friends very often anyway?
I would say when we're younger, trying to figure it out, you want to kind of figure out who you belong with or who you want to grow a relationship with. But as an adult, I don't think you really do at all. But some people do. Some people want to be everybody's friend.
Coming to you, A-Trap.
Even as an adult, some people just want to be everybody. What's up, A-Trap?
I know.
It looked like he. Okay,
there you go.
The halo.
Halo.
Okay, Halo.
Yeah. So say that again, Lily. You say most people don't go looking for new friends. You got to be a lame to go looking for new friends, right?
Yeah, and some people do. Some people do. Some people want to be everybody's friend, and they just out there trying to be everybody's friend, trying to be cool with everybody. And that to me is almost concerning. It's red flags in friendship when you want.
Would you consider those the people pleasers, or how would you describe those people in general?
I would say probably people pleasers. Like if I fall into a group where I don't really have a connection, or I don't have to have a relationship or a friendship with everybody, but I'm also not denying it. So whatever happens with me.
Okay. So A-Trap, we were just, talking about the no new friends mantra, and I'll get to you a little later on it and let you tell how we kind of got there and what your initial thoughts are on that subject, period. So I've read the Drake and DJ Khaled, the first stanza from their No New Friends song. So Mika, your initial thoughts, where did this stuff come from? Is it legit? What's the deal with it?
I stand kind of in agreement with what Alicia stated, meaning nobody's out looking for friends, but I've made friends over the last 8 to 10 years or 12 years. They are some of my closest friends. So if I was in the, at that point in my life where I was like, you know what, no new friends, this is me. I've been rolling with this crew for 10, 15 years or 20 years, but I, didn't want to take on any friends. You know how many connections I wouldn't have made, how many long friendships I wouldn't have made, or how many, work opportunities that wouldn't have come up. So I would say, that's not, again, no one's looking for new friends, but I don't think you should be opposed to it either. And everybody ain't your friend. That's another song. Everybody ain't your friend. So you have to learn to make sure that you know an associate from a friend. So,
all right, let's go to the seasoned queen and get her thoughts on it. Looks like she's freezing a little bit here and there, but go for it.
Well, how many times did our parents tell us as kids that everybody's not your friend? Like Mika was saying. The other thing is, I necessarily don't agree with this no new friends stance. I really think that, like as Mika said, in life you definitely will meet new friends, and all those friends, if we do just dismiss them when we meet them, then sometimes you're just giving up a good friend versus somebody that you just say, well, I don't need new friends. But sometimes you really do need new friends, and God put that person in your path for a reason.
All right, cool.
So I don't necessarily believe in all that either.
All right, let me get a couple of catch up on these comments, and then we'll go to you, H-Rap. So we got Chef Finders Wine says he's already shared to his community posts.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
Thanks,
we got Glanisha Jackson and H-Rap. I know you got little nicknames for your folks, and I'm gonna tell you, like I tell on the forecast, any old names we see in the chat room, like Doretha, Vernon.
Doretha was his auntie.
Yes. Any old names we see, we know them H-Rap people. So we got Glanisha Jackson, but if they got real names or nicknames that you be obviously say whatever you're gonna say on that. Rhonda's in the building. What's up, Rhonda?
Hello.
Hi, Rhonda.
Telling everybody good evening. Thank you for the support. Please subscribe to Queen 3 and King. We sure appreciate it. Charlotte Wilson says, make new friends, but keep the old. Those are silver. These are gold. If we never try new things, including friendships, we miss out on new blessings and possibly even better friends.
Amen.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
All right, Charlotte says now we have 2 kings and 3 queens.
Yeah.
Rhonda agrees with that. Said agreed. Charlotte, I don't know what she agreed with, the queens part of the comment. Let's see. Kirby says growing up we had a song at summer camp. The chorus we went make new friends and keep the old one is silver and one is gold. So
that's kind of where she got that from.
Right.
All right. Let's see. All right. Rhonda says, I know someone who wants to be in a relationship, but she says that she doesn't want any new friends. To me, that's a contradiction.
Agreed.
Kirby said, Charlotte, I just noticed your comment. Okay. I think it's a contradiction as well, Rhonda. Let's see. You learn them by befriending. Okay, you're probably talking about that relationship situation. All right, H-Rap, what you got? No new friends. What's the deal? How do we get here?
I just think it's one of those things that pop culture creates, and then you create this fake mantra, and then everybody jump on it because it sounds good.
Right.
And we a fractured community, and so we just love to express our pain. But without new friends, you don't get growth. Like just knowing you, I've grown exponentially. So me and you up all night on phone calls. Me and you would call each other for 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes turned into an hour conversation. We can talk about life, we can talk about food, we can talk about God.
Love it.
And without you, I probably would cussed out about 200,000-300,000 people.
Yeah.
So new friends is definitely necessary. And one of the things that really annoys me about this new friend thing is this. everybody thinks because you're my friend, we have to be BFFs and wear the same clothes, buy the
Oh,
same.
thank you, Jesus. Yeah.
No, you could just be a friend that just calls me. Like Kirby is one of my friends. He's a horrible friend. I mean, he might I talk to him, you know. He just support the show, though. You know, really. You know. But everybody's not meant to be your best friend. Sometimes a friend is just that person
So true.
who will tell you, "Hey, man, you slipping," or "Hey,
Mhm.
the screen is freezing, H-Rap," or whatever. You know, so everybody wants you to. Hey, we ain't got the hug to be friends. We can just be, "Hey, what's happening?" And that's it.
Right.
You know.
Right, no doubt. And so as I read the DJ Khaled and Drake lyrics, one of the things I said to myself, I said, DJ Khaled and Drake themselves ain't day one niggas, are they?
Well, day 51.
Yeah.
Baby, it's about that check.
So if that was the case, no new friends, be with your day one niggas only, then you ain't making music with nobody but Lil Earl and Pookie and them niggas can't rap. So it doesn't make any sense. You know, you talking about something that you have not done yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds cool.
It sounds good.
It's a cute Instagram caption.
Right. I'm hard. You know,
Yeah.
And
right.
the funny thing about it is when you see those people on Instagram with it or Facebook or any social media hashtag no new friends, I'm like, girl, y'all just met 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
they're toxic, so it's fitting.
So it's fitting. Or nobody wants to be your new friend. So
yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And so H-Rap talked about us. Obviously, we met through Ben and doing the show there, which our forecast 1 year anniversary was yesterday, and we had the 1 year anniversary show. But that's a perfect example. You know, H-Rap and Wilkes. You know, we wouldn't have been in each other's lives had we had that deal. We probably might not have even been open to doing the podcast necessarily, or definitely growing the relationship or developing the relationship beyond the show, right? And so with H-Rap and I, you know, he talked to, you know, about, you know, the number of things that we talk about. I remember a morning recently, you know, and H-Rap was struggling with something. He goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you, you know, call me or whatever." So of course I called him right away, and just to get, without getting into the specifics of that conversation, at the end of that conversation, he was like, "Man, I thank you. I sure needed that." And I'm like, "No, I needed that." I was so crunk by the end of that conversation and on fire. The rest of my day could not have gone poorly whatsoever. So sometimes when you go through some things, you think you're going through it for yourself, but sometimes it's just so I can hear what it is I'm telling you. You know,
That's true.
But whenever I've done public speaking or whatever the case may be, oftentimes I tell those listeners I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you. And that was the case. So I'm like, shoot, this was just as beneficial, if not more so, for me to have had this conversation than it is for you to have needed the conversation. So again, if you're not open to the new friend situation, what is it costing you at the end of the day? You know?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question here, H-Rap. Are we equipped to handle more than a few friends anyway? Are we equipped to handle more than a few friends anyway?
I think so. I think so for the very reasons you said. Because, I mean, you're nothing if you're not helping people. You know, you don't even exist if you're not helping somebody. Like, you know, if you see somebody stranded, struggling, and you help them, you've actually helped two other people, because guess what? Now that person can no longer say, "Hey, see, people don't do this," because as soon as they start saying people don't do this, they're going to remember that day dog helped me out. They'll remember that day Nicole helped me out. They'll remember that day Lily helped me. They're going to remember Mika helped me. So I believe so. I think that, you know, not being equipped, maybe we're not equipped to have best friends. And this is my tight partner, you know, all that. But friends are something that, I mean, you can't have enough of them, because I'm telling you, man, I was just talking today and I was like, I'm about to shrink my circle of the people I think are very close friends, because they're not honest with me, man. And I don't like that. If you will let me struggle and not say it, look, man, I don't mind anybody saying, "Yo, Rap, you tripping, Jack." And then what's going on? But see, people look at me. The problem with being my friend is I'm confident in everything I do and everything I say.
Even when I'm wrong.
Even when I'm wrong, I don't have a problem
Mhm.
being wrong. It ain't like, oh man, you were right 15 times a day. The brink truck's on his way. No, I was right. So what? Tomorrow I'm gonna be 15 times wrong. And I need people to say, yo, you wrong, man. And I'm gonna say, oh, I ain't know that. Okay, moving on. And
I love it.
so I think we best friends, nah, because ain't nobody, you can't have that many 17 people, your best friend.
Yeah.
You better be on the football team.
That's a problem.
Yeah. But friends, I don't think you can have enough.
Mm.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna shut up after this. Like, I got a homeboy who's in the CIA. I got a homeboy in the FBI and the CIA. I got a homeboy who's an attorney. I got a homeboy who's a doctor. I learned something from all of them.
Yeah.
So they're my friends. So,
But you also got homeboys that used to be on the shoot 'em up crew. And you done learn something from them.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So you can't have enough. You can't have enough friends, I don't think. But it's just, if you spread yourself that thin, that's on you, because if you can't be everything to everybody. Just be H-Rap and then let the rest fall in line.
That's
Right.
Yep.
Right. And that's another thing too, that Dr. Gray is somebody who I quote pretty frequently, and he's the author of the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And one of the things that he talks about in there is the tanks that we need to get filled as individuals, right? And he's taking it from the perspective of your spouse can't fill all your tanks. You got to have friends or family members or coworkers or whatever that are able to fill those tanks, because your spouse can't be it. And we hear that sometimes in terms of, I can't be all things to you. I can only be this to you. I make it feel one or two of your tanks, maybe three, but I cannot feel all of them. Same thing with the friend. Just because of the way we are built, there is not a friend that has ever been created that can fill all of your tanks. It is impossible for one friend to do it, so you really need to have a variety of friends. And again, as H-Rap mentioned, talking about your inner circle, that is different. And that's also something Kirby is alluding to. When we talk about allowing new friends into your lives, we're not talking about any and everybody.
That's
but
right.
you still have to give folks the opportunity, because if you don't give folks the opportunity, you have no idea what it is you're missing, right? You may have you may have a goal to say, I'm going to start a new business, or I'm going to start a new relationship, or I want to be married by this particular age, or whatever. And those people who you do not allow into your lives because you're operating under this no new friends mantra could be the very folks that the Lord sent your way to say, this is going to be your entry into that field that you want to be into, or this is going to be the person that introduces you to your spouse, or this is going to be the person that helps you get the funding for the business that you want to get started. But because you got a no new friends attitude, your ass ain't going to have nothing new.
Yeah.
Including your bank account.
Yeah.
Charlotte says, congratulations on the forecast anniversary. Thank you, Charlotte. Rhonda says, amen. That's a very true statement. We remind ourselves of what we need to do by helping somebody else in their journey. Let's see. Charlotte says, different friends help you through many different things, and you can always help others too. Everyone has a purpose and serves a purpose too.
Yes.
All right. So Nikki, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked H-Rap. Are we equipped to handle more than a few friends?
Yes, I think that we are. I think that we are definitely equipped to do that. It's just that I think that a lot of people just don't think that they need a lot of friends or anything like that. And at first, I used to be one of those people where I just had one or two lady friends that I hung up, that I had, and that was it. But then as I started going to different company, when I worked for a different company, then I was able to meet new people came into my life. Some people that, as you guys have already said, that really can pour into you on whenever you, even the ones that I met that was early on in the relationship could pour into me more things than some of my old friends that I had. So it's definitely, I think we are definitely equipped to have new friends.
All right, Mika, are we equipped to handle more than a few friends anyway?
Absolutely. But again, like we said, I have different groups of friends, meaning I have my work friends that are like a great core group of people. I have my best friends that I've grown up with. I have my friends that that are my best friends that I've developed over the last 10 or 12 years. So yes, we are equipped to handle different groups, but we also have to keep that inner circle of friends super tight and super close,
Right.
meaning although I might have different circles of friends or associates, but all those people are not, I'm not calling them like you and A-Trap might talk. I'm not calling them when
Right.
I might be having a bad day. Now that's a different core, that's your core group
Right.
of best friends.
Right.
But you have your different groups that you do associate with and you are friends with, because like Ted said, you can be missing out. Like I have friends that have introduced me to people, introduced me to new jobs, introduced me to just different things, but I don't discount that because I made these friends over the last 10, 12 years, but I think they're here for a lifetime. But if I would have said a few years ago I didn't want them around, or I'm good, I don't need any new friends, I would have missed that.
Right. Lily, are we equipped to handle more than a few friends anyway?
Yeah, I think we are, but I think like it's been mentioned, you just kind of have to categorize your friends, right? So you have your core group, then you may have acquaintances, but then you may have, networking group that I can really call on if I need to, make some stuff shake, whatever the case may be. But I think that some of my best friendships, and I actually just this past Saturday, me and my group of friends went out, and we've been blessed that even some of my best friends that I met within the last few years have become one. Like we are all about lifting each other up. When I say like it was one of those things of like, I need to get out, and they were like, let's get out. Like just because I've been kind of been in that place, and I've kind of shared that of being post on the side of postpartum and going through that. And sometimes like what Ted said earlier, I literally said this last week when talking about Brandon. Like my husband is everything. Like I love him to death. He fills me up, but he can't fill every part of
Obviously,
me up.
that's where Brox
Right.
came from.
Shut up.
I was gonna say
And that was so unnecessary.
Zaddy. He's my zaddy.
Somebody needs to turn her down and hush. But it's one of those things where I said, I don't need time with him because me and him connect every day, all week.
Right.
But I'm like, I need time with my friends. Like,
Yeah.
I need to surround myself with my friends because that's kind of a different. And when I came back, I felt so energized. Like,
Right.
okay, I'm in a much better space.
That is, people miss that, man.
Yes, because they just feel me in so many different ways that I was in a much better space. But you also have to remember that some friends are only here for a season. And that's okay too, because I've learned so much from those friends that have come by just for a season and have had to work through that. I've learned things about myself. I've learned things about that maybe I wanted to change about me. So it's important to do that as well. I actually had reconnected with a friend on Saturday. I hadn't talked to her really since high school. And she was like, I asked her, I said, why did we stop talking? And she was like, I don't know. Like we sat there and we were like, we don't even know. But just to reconnect and be in a different space.
That's
I
it.
feel like we needed to really
Growth.
connect again. That growth, exactly. So you really do. You miss out on a lot of blessings if you have that no new friends mantra.
Yeah. And I want to go in a different angle here just a second, because sometimes shows like this may have one intent, but can be beneficial in another. Okay. And I want to talk about this in terms of what Lily said about being in a marriage and needing something other than your spouse. So I'm telling you right now, if your spouse ain't around, go grab them. I promise you, you're finna get some information that is gonna help. Okay, but before
Well, my husband is listening tonight.
Babe. Oh, he
But
not. I was at.
before I go there, I
Shut
want to
up,
remind
Mika.
everybody that we are live on Roku. So please search BSC TV and download today on all of your Roku devices. If you are on YouTube, please click the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We
Yes.
can't do what we do without you.
Without
And
you.
again, our
Hello.
subject today
Right.
is no new friends. We got our special guest on the show with us, H-Rap B of Built for This Network. The
Yeah.
End of the Bench podcast, and to build and destroy. And that is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to build up this and destroy some of those myths that you've been told
Right.
because it's a money-making deal or something of that nature, right?
Yep.
Let's see, catch up on some of these comments. Okay, so Kirby says all friends should play a position. You have the starters and you have the supporting cast, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
But
He's
so,
definitely off the bench.
yeah. And so H-Rap, I'm gonna throw to you in a little bit once I, kind of talk on this, that touch on what Lily had just said with regard to being in a marriage and needing something that your spouse just can't provide. I'm going to talk to you about the ancestor play on this. Okay, so just kind of think it's a new thought. I just want to get your initial thoughts on what the ancestors may have to do with this, and I'm going to set it up because I'm going to talk about how Christians sometimes get weird about that ancestor thing. So we'll talk about that, but I want you to just give me your thoughts on that because you seem to be in tune with that, the ways of knowing and all that other kind of stuff. So when I touch on Lily's thing, so based on what Lily said, if you're in a marriage, I was fortunate enough to have come across Dr. Gray early in my marriage. Okay. It ended for other reasons, but early. So whenever we talked about this, you need to be filled, your tanks to be filled from other areas. I was able to allow that to take place. There are plenty of spouses out there, and I won't just say husbands and I won't just say wives, because there are plenty of spouses out there who get all twisted up and in their feelings because they spouse want to go hang with their friends.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, it is not an indictment on you as a spouse
At all.
because they need to go hang with somebody else.
That's true.
Take it from me, who have been a stupid husband in a number of different ways, who has been a stupid friend in a number of different ways. Take it from me. Don't pour piss in the Cheerios of your marriage by being offended and petty because your spouse needs to go hang with his or her friends. As Lily said, she came back refreshed. This individual can be a better spouse to you if you allow them the freedom to spread their wings and be the individual that they were when they came into the marriage. Think about it for a second before you start liking them.
Woo, that's the word.
Individual. Why were they this individual? Because they were hanging with their friends that made them this individual. The friends that we have in our lives affect us in different ways and bring certain things out of us that makes us the whole of who we are. And that's what you fell in love with. If you are possessive, if you're jealous, if you are insecure, check yourself, but don't let your spouse, don't hold her or him captive by keeping them at home. That doesn't mean that every now and then you are not in a needy position and you need them. So I always made it okay for my spouse to say, look, I'm going with the fellas, but if you need me right now, it's okay to say so. I would say that all the time because I wanted the right to say so if that happened to be a true day of I need you. I need to just lay my head on your lap tonight. Tonight is not a good night. Do it tomorrow or whatever the case may be, right? So I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is give your spouse the freedom to spread their wings. And if you find yourself in a marriage where this is not taking place, you may want to dig into that a little bit more.
I'm telling you.
There may be bigger issues.
It's
Any
so
thoughts
healthy.
on that from anybody on the panel?
No, and I'm sure I have a good group that are core friends, but I can call on my friends at any times, and these are the people that are in marriages that I look to: Derek and Selena, Kadil and Rock, Keisha and her. Like these are people that I look to. I'm not even, our family, we have a lot of people to look to as well, but I'm just saying different friends that I can look at and that I love their marriage because they have that balance. When it's time to go out with their friends and then they're so excited to go home, like, okay, I'm going to see my husband or I'm going to see my wife, and they've had a good time and they feel better. And like you said, that's a different tank that is now filled that I can help, come back, and now I can be the person that I needed to be here at the house. So no, I totally agree.
Absolutely. It's healthy.
Yeah. We got Chief Rocker in the building. Like I said, his name is Vernon. And so he's HF friend because any old names. And so he spoke to everybody.
Don't do that.
Hey.
And let's see, he said, whenever I was telling about being that horrible husband and friend sometimes, he said, not you, dog. Yep.
Not you, dog.
Chief. And he says, also, take it from me, it's just not the friends. Look at the person you really married.
Ooh.
Yeah, you better. And sometimes, hey, we just got to be honest. Sometimes we didn't do that early on.
Yeah.
We made that decision based on some other criteria. Wanga, this is Atrap's brother. He says friendship is a promise, 100%. And that's another thing too. We don't talk about our friendships with our friends enough. You got to talk about what kind of friend you're going to be. Wanga also says a friend loves at all times. And Kirby says, and I'm good for 20 plus points every night. I don't know what he means.
That was when
I think
he comes off the bench.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. That's what it was.
I got you. And Wanga also says, amen, let your spouse enjoy life and stop trying to control your spouse. Kirby says, who in the hell left the gate open? All right, cool. All right. So A-Trap, let's talk about the angle of our ancestors. And again, I talk about when you start talking about ancestors and things in the spiritual realm, Christians can get weird on you, because they're not quite sure how to tie in this Jesus dude, God, the Holy Spirit, ancestors, and how that all works, right? And they kind of get weird when folks start talking about the ancestors. However, the word does talk about a cloud of witnesses that we have, right? And they say to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? So theoretically, any of our kinfolk that we have that have passed away are our ancestors and are present with the Lord. So they do have an impact on our lives. But A-Trap, talk to us about this.
Well, when people start getting weirded out, it shows you, just like the words say, you pass due to lack of study. Lack of knowledge, that means you're not studying. And when you don't study, you don't know these things. I just reference this big time pastor. He became a national prominence when Obama became president. Baba Jeremiah, right? And he used to be Obama's pastor. And he has this sermon in which he talks about legs of a race. And he says, always, as you run this race of life, understand your ancestors, and each leg, your ancestors are helping you along, and Jesus is in the crowd. So that means your ancestors are sitting with Jesus, helping you along, and people just understand this. Like my mom is with me every podcast, every week that I go on air, primarily because I'm going to say, I remember the day, July 24th, 2010, my mother told me to do this because I was telling her about something. She said, you should do it, because we were talking about what I told her I was going to do when I grew up. She said, what did you think? Do you remember what you told me you were going to be? And to make a long story short, I told her I wanted to be a sportscaster. And she said, why did you want to do that? And I said, because I was sick of going to church. But she's like, do it. And I said, yeah, I'm thinking about it. But I could feel my mother with me every time I log on, because that's she gave inspiration. And people, we move so fast in this world that we don't slow down and listen to our ancestors. I think a couple, maybe about a month ago, y'all were talking about how y'all mom was like, oh, that's just Uncle such and such in there. And that's exactly that's your mother understanding what's going on around her. And see, our ancestors who were enslaved them. And that's what I was talking about today. if we slow down, like they say, you pray, you're talking to God, but you also, the other part of prayer is meditation. And meditation is listening to what God has to say. We're moving at 1,000 miles per hour every day. And if we slow down, the Lord, our ancestors, they'll guide us through this. Like me, I know my mother with me at all times, so it's just a situation where as I slow down, I hear her. And like, even if you listen to the show 2 weeks ago, me and my son, we kept referencing my mother. So that's how the ancestors are always around you. And how that ties in to friends is you sit at the feet of your elders. Like me, like I said today, if you look at me, if I posted a picture of my dad, you'd be like, you look just like your dad. And if I posted a picture of my mom, you look just like your mom. So that's working with me. And guess what? Big Richard and George, my grandfathers, Lois and Muddeer, those are my grandmother, and so forth and so on. So we used to sit at the feet of our elders and get educated about spirituality, about life and things of that nature. And that's how that friend thing ties in, because guess what? I got Doc, I got Ben, I got Kirby, I got Patrick, and we sit around and chew the fat. And when I make a mistake, they point it out.
Yeah.
And that is transferred down to my son, and so forth and so on. The African tradition is sit around the ancestors and put a straw in your mouth. And the ancestors would say, take that straw out your mouth. Then you can talk. And if you get to talking too reckless, they say, put that straw back in your mouth. So we are, whether you call, like you always hear me, dog. If you call them Jehovah Jireh, you call them Allah, whatever you call them, it's the same thing. And slow down, listen, and hey, that's your best friend. The creator.
That's your best friend.
Yeah, and in fact, it reminds me, H-Rap, when you were here, and it was one of the first conversations. I think we were just killing time, waiting to go to dinner with some friends or something like that, and we were sitting in the living room having a conversation. And I remember that the first 2 or 3 things I said in that conversation, you immediately referenced your mom. My mom told me that same thing right before she passed away. Or my mom used to always say that. It was like back to back to back confirmation of things your mom used to say, So I think that our ancestors are extremely significant and how they line things up for us. In fact, talk about what you talked about last night when you talked about how this person was born on this day. That's the same day that somebody was assassinated. That's the same. Talk about that for a quick second.
Like that again, the ancestors are always at work. They're trying to teach you at all times. Everybody in the world 2 years ago was brought to our attention that about Juneteenth. Rest of the southern part of the country in Philadelphia, they had always did it. 2 years ago, Juneteenth became the mantra. Juneteenth. The same year, George Floyd was murdered. George Floyd is from the home of Juneteenth, Galveston, Texas. George Floyd was murdered on the 31st of May, Memorial Day. What else happened on the 31st of May? 100 years before George Floyd, the day that the Tulsa, Oklahoma situation happened. That's your ancestors letting you know, hey, you're still not following our instruction. I'm going to remind you again. And these kinds of things happen all the time. But we're so busy caught up in our phones. We don't study. We don't read. We don't meditate. We don't pray. So these things just fly over. They flying over our head like a 747, never touching us. But it's there, and it's being we're being reminded at all times. But we don't pay attention. So the ancestors are gonna say, okay, we're gonna start this over again. So hopefully.
Okay, our season queen is having some technical difficulties with the sound. Lily, we're gonna go to your segment here in just a moment after I catch up on a couple of these comments. Mwanga said this show 8. And then he said this show is awesome. Appreciate you, Mwanga.
Thank you.
And now we're gonna go to Mrs. Lily's segment.
The streets are talking.
Mika trying to dance again. The guest in the bed.
Had a little more energy today.
I didn't know if she was gonna make it today.
Yeah, yeah.
She went hard this weekend for her birthday, y'all. I don't know. I didn't know if she was gonna make it.
Ooh, thank you, Lord. I'm back.
All right, so the streets are talking. So there was this post going around about the great Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? So, and I'm just I'm gonna read the status, and it refers to him as Sean Carter. Okay, so that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jay-Z for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Jay-Z. So it says a couple of years ago, Sean Carter and his wife Beyonce were on the verge of divorce. Beyonce was officially done with the marriage. Sean broke down crying. He begged his wife to give him one more chance to confront the childhood traumas that were preventing him from being a good husband through therapy. A lot of folks accused Sean of making excuses for his action. Beyonce agreed to give him one more shot with therapy. She was aware of his emotional traumas. Mm-hmm. Today, Sean credits that therapy and confronting the mental and emotional scars from his childhood with saving his family. Mm-hmm. Childhood trauma often follows many of us into adulthood, and when left unresolved, self-destruction is the outcome. So everybody kind of knows the backstory of Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? So when she did the album Lemonade, that was supposedly during the time that they were having the most issues. Yeah. He went with Becky with the good hair. That was her reference, right? So it was cheating allegations, all that good stuff. The question that followed this post that I saw a bunch of people kind of reposting was, if a guy came to you after maybe being accused of infidelity, let's just say, and let's remove the money out of it because money became a big topic. So removing money from the situation, I don't want to hear it's because he got money, because she does too. So removing money from the situation. If your spouse came to you and said, you know what, the reason I haven't been the best spouse to you is because of these childhood traumas I've never faced. And if you give me one more chance, you won't have to worry about this ever again. Would you allow, even with infidelity, would you allow that one more shot?
A-Trap, you want to dig in right there?
A-Trap been smelling. When I tell you A-Trap been smelling the whole time, so I'm like, what do he have to say?
I'm like, what is it?
You know what? It depends on who I am. I used to be a horrible person. I'm not gonna. Well, in regards to that, I used to be a serial cheater.
Okay.
So, what I'll say is this: knowing who I used to be, I'll be forced to. I've lived that. Me and Doc, we talked about this 2 weeks ago on the show. I've lived that. I was a serial cheater, and Big Illinois asked me way before the situation ended. He was like, "Yo, what would you do if you found out she cheated on you?" And I literally said this. I said, "Hey man, I gotta go to the scorecards." And he was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "I got to see how many times I've done wrong, and I got to check how many times I found out she did wrong. And if I'm winning, I got to shut up. But I gotta suck it up." And
oh my.
I'm a true. I believe in karma, like old ladies believe in Jesus. So that's exactly what happened to me. But it was over by then. But you know, me and that person, me and my children's mother, we're still very good friends. And when it happened, I said, hey, you ain't gotta feel bad. I created a universe in which you felt that that's what you need to do.
That's
I got to suck it up, and I confessed, and I said, hey, you know, I did. It wasn't as bad as it sounds. I'll make it sound, but I told her, hey, I did this, and this, and this is why I did. And it was. I can relate to Jay-Z because I'm 5'10". Well, y'all know how tall I am. I'm 5'10", but up until the day I graduated from high school, I was 5'5". I used to literally pray to God that I could be taller than my 5'7" mother. Like, God, just let me get 5'7" and a quarter. I'm just tired of being shorter than this lady. From May to August, I grew 5 inches. And women started paying attention to me, and I was like,
that went to your head, huh?
Right. I was like, I got to do this because I don't know how long this is gonna last. But I didn't realize that I grew. So hey, every time somebody said, "Hey, how you doing?" and it just continued on until I remember the day. It was 2 weeks before my 26th birthday. And I was at this nightclub, and this woman was flirting with me, and I'm talking to her, and she's a gorgeous woman. And I don't know what made me ask this woman how old she was. She was like, I'm 26. And I said, oh, wow, an older woman. And then my subconscious said, hey, jackass, you're going to be 26 in 2 weeks. And then I woke up. So you got, hey, man, it depends on who you are. If you were old H-rap, you got to suck it up. Or if you know that these are the issues that this person has, yeah, I 51-year-old H-rap, yeah, I don't know if 30-year-old H-rap would do it, but 51-year-old H-rap, yeah, I'd do it. I'd be like, huh. But I would definitely hold a little head like that halo right there. Every chance I get. Remember that day if I come in late. What? Late? He was late one night.
Well, I want to say this. For me, infidelity is it's a zero tolerance policy for me, and again, it's because I'm gonna set that relationship up differently. We're gonna set that relationship up differently, and we're gonna communicate from the jump street, and we're gonna establish boundaries that will determine and lay out what we're going to allow and what we're not, and infidelity, there's not going to be any excuses for it at that point, so I won't tolerate it, regardless of why they got from point A to point B, because at that point, I will have given you several opportunities to tell me about any ghosts, any demons, any skeletons, all those kind of things. You had plenty of time to tell me about any issues that were going on that may have contributed to this, that, or the third. So no, for me, it's a zero tolerance policy, regardless of how powerful a statement you make and tell me about these demons and these unchecked emotions or whatever. As Wanga says, wow, that was a powerful statement from Sean Carter and true. Fine. But hey, we done had 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. And because I've learned from previous situations, we're going to set it up differently. So like H-Rap says, in the past, I may have created universes. I've created worlds to where that you felt you needed to do that, or that may have been more tolerable. Yeah. This time I'm setting up a universe to where that don't exist. That don't even come to your mind.
Yeah, it was, I think the debate was, and it, kind of what you said, a lot of people were like, well, did he not know about these childhood traumas in the 5 to 7 years before? Or why did it take for the situation to come to this point for you to say, hey, give me one more chance to go to therapy and to confront these demons or whatever?
What have y'all been talking about?
And that's my thing. What, at the beginning, I think that's why courtship, and I'm taking old school, courtship is so important, because you should be talking about all that stuff at the beginning. So as you're, as you're becoming friends and this relationship is evolving and it's growing, shouldn't you be saying, hey, I just want to let you know that, when I was a kid, this happened. And that's when you talk about therapy and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Kirby said H-Rap had a stable. Peace out.
Oh my.
Charlotte says, I would have to seriously pray about it. Cheating to me indicates deeper issues.
Yeah.
That trust is a sacred thing, and I cannot get past that. The imagination and images are powerful. In the past, no. I don't have to pray about it.
I would.
I don't.
After Nikki,
well, that's his zero tolerance.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to hear what Nikki got to say.
Nikki, Nikki, you got any thoughts on that? H-Rap was asking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now that you're talking, yeah.
Okay, but I can't see y'all. That's why I was asking if y'all could hear me.
Oh, okay. No, we
I
can
didn't
see
know
and
you.
hear
I
you.
didn't know you could see. Yeah, I didn't know you couldn't see us.
Yeah, I can't see y'all.
We can hear you and see you though.
Okay.
So you got any thoughts on that?
No, no, I actually agree with the fact that you should know in the beginning whether or not you have any childhood traumas that could affect your relationship. And it should be talked about in the beginning of the relationship. And I'm like Charlotte. I would definitely have to pray about the situation if something like that did occur.
Okay.
This is the
All right.
question I want to ask the ladies. Do y'all believe? How long do y'all believe she allowed this behavior? Because being a former cheater, that wasn't the first time I did this. That's the
Right.
first time you caught me.
Mhm.
So how long do y'all think she tolerated this?
I honestly think it's been. It had to be going on. I think at that point, you come to a point as a woman where you be like, I'm done. Like I think other things could have led to that point, but at that point, she was done. And I think that's why she was letting it all out in that album. She was just completely done with everything at that point. And that kind of lets you know that it wasn't the first time. So I think this event was like, okay, I'm done. But then he asked for that chance or whatever, and she gave it to him, and now they where they at. But I think it has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, I agree.
Quite some
Okay.
time.
Kirby also.
It's strange because from what I listened to that song once, and when she brought up Becky with the good hair, maybe it's just me. I was like, so you're really mad that he went with the white girl?
Better call Becky with the good hair.
Yeah, I was like, well, he was doing this the whole time. You got mad at the white girl.
Yeah.
Kirby wanted us to know about A-Trap, that he was a West Side Mac.
Okay,
On the north side of Chicago. I don't know what he's talking about.
And then he said, ask the bishop. I don't know what he's talking about there.
Bishop Magic Don Juan. That's what he's
Oh my God.
And Kirby said she couldn't take no more.
Exactly.
Is what he was
Yeah.
saying.
He couldn't take anymore. And
Yeah.
it probably became an emotional connection, and she could feel all that, and she was like, okay.
And
I'm
even
done.
to Charlotte's point that Tech just put up, maybe it was becoming more obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe old girl was about to take it to the headlines.
Yeah.
So she was trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, quite possibly. All right, Lily, appreciate that segment. We're going to ask just a couple more questions about this no new friends things. And these came up for me today, and then we'll give our final thoughts on this. So when you talk about no new friends, this is a couple of questions I want to ask about it. And Nikki, I'm going to start with you on this. Does this mantra, no new friends, encourage people to stay in friendships that are no longer healthy?
Ooh.
I think that some people just depends on where they are in their relationships and their maturity as to whether or not they will go ahead and not pursue new friends because of that. But speaking for myself, I personally would not let it stop me from being in toxic relationships.
All right, cool. Mika, is this no new friends mantra, does it encourage people to stay in friendships that are no longer healthy?
No, I don't think it encourages you to stay in friendships that are no longer healthy, but it does affect you getting into friendships that are healthy.
Okay.
So,
Lily, what do you think? Does this encourage people to stay in friendships that are not healthy?
I don't think so. Well, you know what? I would say, speaking in general, I can't speak just from my standpoint, but just speaking in general, I would say yes. Because some people have that no new friends mentality, and you know so much about those two individuals, and you know all the toxic mess that they've been through, and you're like, how are y'all still even friends?
Right.
Because you know background. But to put it on Facebook or our IG. It looks cute if we say, "Hey, this has been, hey girl, no new friends over here," that type of thing. But I think for sure people get that really take that mantra too far to where they will stay in relationships, friendships, or whatever it may be too long.
But another factor that I think it's the younger generation that are like no new friends. I would think, as you get older and you mature, you're able to say no new friends. That doesn't even make any sense. How's that going to help me in the long run? So
shit, I'm seeing this from everybody, out there. That whole no new friends thing. Folks that should be too old, should be old enough to not know it. See, it's frightening when young folks think that way, because they are the future of our culture and our society and stuff like that. So when they think ignorantly like that, it is frightening, to say the least. But unfortunately, I got some old heads. Think about how many old heads out there doing the TikTok thing and posting some of the kind of photos and on IG and some of the other stuff, and you thinking to yourself, you is just too old to be doing that. So their mentality is sometimes reflective of these of these young kids, of that generation, right? A-Trap, what do you think? Is this encouraging people to stay in friendships that are no longer healthy?
Yeah, because what Kirby said, people enjoy what they're familiar with, and why would I take a chance? Because people, as we stated, people are already fractured.
That's very true. Yeah.
Why would I don't want to be broken, so I'm gonna stay over here. Stay with the devil,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I absolutely think that it definitely, and I don't know if the word is encourages them to stay, but it enables them to stay in friendships that are no longer healthy.
Yeah,
and so because think about it for a second, no new friends. That's telling you to stay with your A1 day ones regardless, and they don't understand that sometimes people have a shelf life. People think that you got to be friends with somebody just because y'all have been friends since kindergarten. Well, I got news for you. Sheila is different at age 25 than she was in kindergarten. She ain't the same individual that she was.
Sheila.
Because even though y'all were friends at age 5, her life experiences have changed who she is at age 25, and who she is at 30, and who she is at 35 and 40, and so on and so forth. So just because you've been friends with someone since elementary school or middle school or high school, or y'all grew up in the same neighborhood, is not an indicator of whether you should still be friends with her or not. It is a matter of whether that friendship is still fruitful or not, and if it's healthy, for you individually, healthy for your family, for your marriage, for your kids, it could come down to the fact that that's your home girl that you've been having since kindergarten. But now that y'all both got kids, she raised her kids in a way that you don't want your kids exposed to. It could be something that simple. And I don't care how good of a wingman she is, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So this leads me to this statement. And I say it to myself as I asked that question or wrote that question down, does this mantra encourage staying in the friendships that are no longer healthy? I said to myself, maybe it's the friends that ain't shit that started this anyway. No new friends. They trying to protect their own asses. So they like, no new friends. We don't want this joker going out and getting somebody else replacing me, finding out that I ain't shit. So it's the existing friends that ain't shit that says no new friends. Thoughts?
Kirby does play the song a lot.
Could it be the existing friends that ain't shit that's saying no new friend?
Oh yeah, because it'll expose them.
Yeah.
So it'll expose the type of friend I am, or what what our friendship may lack. So it could possibly be the reason why, like, no new friends, girl, because I'm not doing what I need to do for our relationship anyway. So, and somebody else will come in and show you how it's really done, and then like you said, I might fall off, and I'm no longer trying to kick it with you because I've been there.
Yeah.
Wanga,
for sure.
says, how can I become a guest on this show? All you got to do, A-Trap knows how to get in contact with me. So ask him to get my
Okay,
information and we'll talk about it. Rhonda says, but think about that term, the devil that you know. If you're with the devil or in the presence of the devil or person who doesn't mean you well, why are you there? Can you trust them?
No, but that's the
do
thing.
you
That's
know?
That's why you stay with the no new
Because
friend.
it's familiar.
It's familiar.
It's the
And it's
devil that you
comfortable,
know, and then you
you
getting
know?
screwed either way.
Yep.
And then based on some of my comments, Rhonda said, preach, dog, preach. Kirby says, we know how to make new friends because we know how to walk up and talk to people. This new society has to talk through an app. And that's a good point
true.
on how people make friends nowadays or why they are comfortable saying no new friends. Because I'm willing to bet that they probably have been disappointed with the new friends that they've made based on how you make them nowadays. So I'm sure that has an impact. And Kirby says, Doc, you just may be right. And that's on the old friends keeping that mantra going, no new friends, because they know they ain't shit. No old or new A-Traps. And Charlotte says, amen.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go around. We'll start with Nikki and let's give our final thoughts and wrap this one up.
First of all, I would like to thank H-Rap for being a part of our show tonight. I really enjoyed it. And you know that you're my fellow Leo, so that's a good thing.
Come on, Leo.
And to the audience, thank you guys once again for supporting us. And it means a lot to my siblings and I. And I just hope that you guys have a great rest of the week. However, I want to mention that make sure that if all your friendships are strong and good friendships, and that they add value to your life and not subtract from your life. And just regardless of how many years you guys have been friends, that doesn't mean that you have to be their friend for a lifetime. So just do the right thing, whether you know what that is or not. Just pray about it. And God will let you know who has value and who doesn't.
All right. Mika, final thoughts.
Again, thank you, H-Rap. You're a Leo, but I'll take you.
I know you did.
Look, I got sisters that are Leos and a mama that's a Leo. So go come on to the party. But thank you to the audience. Thank you to the new subscribers and listeners and, people who've made comments. Our show, is really wrapped around what y'all do and how y'all come in and make it flow.
Yeah.
And about no new friends, guys, don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
You never know what you're missing out on. And we're not saying that everybody you meet has to be your friend. We're not saying, every time you come in contact with them, they're your friend. But make sure, ask. Pray about it. Make sure, that when you do meet people, and if that person is meant to be in your life, that you're able to, develop that friendship and make it grow. So thank y'all for tuning in.
Lily.
H-Rap, thank you for joining us. I think this conversation went by way too fast. You were dropping nuggets left and right that I feel like we need more time. So we're going to have to definitely have you back on the show. But we definitely appreciate the support as always. No new friends. Don't hold yourself and don't hold yourself in a category to where you only experience a few people in your life. Sometimes God brings those people into your life for a season. Like I said before, you learn from them. Sometimes they're with you for the rest of the ride. So I think it's also one of those things, just like A-Trap mentioned in the beginning of the show, how many different friends he has. Like he knows somebody in the CIA. He knows somebody in the FBI. He knows an attorney. Like you never know who you can meet and who will bless a certain part of your life. You never know who you will need. So having those friends is super, super important. So
who will need you.
Exactly. Absolutely. So thank you guys.
All right, A-Trap, final thoughts, sir.
I want to thank you guys for having me on. It's always fun. This is one of my favorite shows. I really enjoy watching, and now I'm a part of it. It was even better. with the new friends thing, I just think, man, in life, you need to be thinking about this. As you ascend, you must uplift.
Hmm.
So if you're gonna uplift people, you may not have to uplift just the people around you. You may have to uplift the stranger. So new friends are a necessity for growth, for enhancement. Even if it's a horrible situation, like when Kirby come over my house and eat out my refrigerator.
Oh.
He's a horrible friend, but he's still on my refrigerator. Don't even ask. But he's still my boy, though, because like you, dog, you talk to Kirby long enough. You talk to Kirby, and he can almost relate every life situation to a scripture. So you need those people in your life. And me and Kirby became friends about 25 years ago, just sitting next to each other in the barbershop.
Love it.
So it's just, you need new people for new experiences.
Yeah.
And for further enhancement. So if you don't want new friends, you want to be right where you are, as you stated, spiritually, intellectually, and financially. You want to be right where you are. So if you want to be there, no new friends. That's almost a recipe.
Guaranteed. Yeah. I think that's definitely something. When A-Trap was talking, is your new friends can challenge some of those old stereotypes that you may have in your head, or some of those. Okay, one of the dangers of a business or of an individual is to operate under that's the way we've always done it deal, right? Whether it be a process or a procedure in place, or whether it be how you do a relationship, right? When you expose yourself to new people, sometimes they'll be able to challenge some of that old way of thinking and give you a new perspective that will enlighten you, and kind of change who you are and allow you to grow fully into who you're supposed to be. Again, challenging old stereotypes, man, I think that is super huge in this thing. Let's see. Charlotte says, thank you for this wonderful show. I've learned new things and enjoy myself with all of you. Thank you, Charlotte. Kirby says, I wish I never met him. Kirby says, but y'all cool, Doc, you officially West Side. All right, homeboy. And my final thoughts are, simply one of a man that I think we've all come to know and respect, even in the middle of his imperfections, and that is the great ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he says that in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. In the end, we'll remember the words of our enemy. We will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And that ties in perfectly to what A-Trap said earlier when he says, I'm reducing my circle because they are not being honest with me. Right? They are telling me what I want to hear, what they think I want to hear, what's comfortable, as opposed to telling me what I need to know. So again, don't be so worried about what your enemy's saying. They're your enemies. They got an agenda. Worry about when your friends stay silent. And with that, we thank you for tuning in to another episode of Queen 3 and King. Next week's episode, to spank or not to spank. You still whooping them kids' ass? We're going to figure it out next week.
Oh, my.
We're going to figure it out next
Eat them. Eat them kids.
All right. We appreciate that. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
You smiling or what are we doing?
The Queen Bee has arrived.
You know. What's show out then? So I'm gonna start with both of y'all's hands.